Welcome to Tiger Tracks, your home for the best of LSU athletics. And now, your hosts, Jordy Holtberg and Bill Frankes.
Hi, Tiger fans around the world. Welcome. This is Tiger Tracks. He is, as mentioned, Bill Frankes. I am Jordy Holtberg. Great to be with you. Tigers, it's all in the numbers. Eighth in the country, and at number 7, he's pretty good.
He is pretty
good. Pretty good.
Exactly. Wow, what a home debut for LSU.
Yeah.
45-21 over Auburn. Just a complete dismantling of the previously ranked Auburn Tigers. Leonard Fournette, 228 yards, and naturally, very much now in the Heisman conversation. We don't want to get too carried away, but
yeah, we do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
right.
we do. Look,
yeah,
this isn't makeup. This is sitting in Tiger Stadium in that heat wave. It was unbelievable. What an experience. And so anyway, next up, we go to the ACC, which is still hard for me to say. Syracuse in the ACC. What happened to the Big East? Anyway, we'll have a preview of the Tigers versus the Orange, and I know their mascot's name.
Is that right?
Otto the Orange, one of the classics of all time. Anyway, a preview coming your way.
Exactly. The Carrier Dome, of course, probably more known for basketball.
Yeah.
But they play football up there as well, and Syracuse is undefeated. And so the Tigers will have a challenge going on the road, a great distance. LSU's never played in that part of the country before, at least up in New York State. So it should be a good experience for the Tigers and a chance for LSU and Leonard Fournette to get some exposure up in the northeast part of the country.
Volleyball plays tonight against Arkansas. Fran Flory will join us. Jack Joubert, the artist that is LSU football, will join us as well. That's all coming your way. This is Tiger Tracks on CST. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks. Happy autumnal equinox. This is the first day of fall, by the way, just in case you didn't know.
That's exactly right.
Thank you. That's why I'm here.
I'm glad to hear that. It didn't feel like fall last Saturday.
And it's a great time to be heading up north in the fall rather than in the dead of winter. Anyway, they play indoors at the big air conditioner, the Carrier Dome. The Tigers and the first time LSU's played football in the Carrier Dome.
Absolutely. Early start, 11 a.m. Central Time for the Tigers, but LSU looking forward to this opportunity. Garrett Wolvert had a chance to preview this weekend's game.
A blowout win against an SEC rival, and the LSU Tigers are one of the hottest properties in college football. With their 45-21 victory against Auburn, LSU moves up the polls to number 8 and have now been ranked in the top 10 in all 11 seasons under Les Miles. Coach is focused on undefeated Syracuse this week and LSU's first trip to the Carrier Dome.
It'd be a great opportunity for our guys to go east and experience a very quality opponent. And been there myself. Be a great challenge for us. They're 3-0, off to their best start since 1991. Big overtime win against Central Michigan, and I want you to know I'm from the Midwest, so I know what a real quality MAC school is capable of. And for Syracuse to be in the position that they're in, they've earned it, and we respect them.
The Tigers and Orange have history dating back 50 years, including the 1965 Sugar Bowl and the 1989 Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa. Each team claims one win in the series, but this will be the first matchup on campus. Syracuse is scheduled to visit Tiger Stadium in 2017, and the Orange always bring great tradition whenever they travel. On January 1st, 1965, LSU and Syracuse met for the first time in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. National championship head coach Ben Schwartzwelder and the Orange stormed out to an early lead before LSU's defense came to life. The Tigers got on the board with a safety and pitched a shutout in the second half. All-American Doug Morrow scored all of LSU's offensive points that day, kicking a field goal and catching a perfect pass for a 57-yard game-tying touchdown. Morrow kicked a 28-yarder in the fourth quarter, and LSU sealed the victory 13-10 over Syracuse. It was the first Sugar Bowl win for Coach Charles McClendon. The 1989 Hall of Fame Bowl was the last meeting between LSU and Syracuse, and the Orange prevailed 23-10. Calvin Wyndham scored the Tigers' only touchdown at Old Tampa Stadium, and the series was knotted evenly at 1 win apiece. Fast forward 25 years, and LSU's running on all cylinders heading into their Saturday morning matchup with Syracuse. Leonard Fournette rushed for 228 yards and 3 touchdowns against top 20 Auburn and leads a powerful ground attack. The LSU defense racked up 5 sacks and forced 2 turnovers and held Auburn's spread offense to just 260 yards. The Tigers will try and bring that momentum into the Carrier Dome against Syracuse.
I've heard it's a tough place to play. They're 3-0. It's going to be a fun challenge, and we're looking forward to it as a team. We're not taking them lightly in any way. We know it's a tough challenge, and we're going to be ready.
I've never been to New York, but I've played in some domes before, so I'm used to that. And it should be a fun game, and it's another team that wants to beat us. Another team is trying to take us off our goal, and so I look forward to it.
I just know for a fact that each and every game, every week, we have to come prepared. They're not a sleeper. They're very talented. We just have to come out there with 8 games, work hard this week, and we'll see Saturday.
It's just always a lot of fun to go back and see the great plays that are put together that we as a unit contribute to. And, a lot of times there's, unsung heroes and unsung blocks that go unnoticed, and so it's real cool to go back and watch film and see teammates really excelling and knowing that their effort really sprung some of those big plays.
Syracuse has played 3 home games to open the season, and the undefeated Orange will surely have their largest crowd of the year on hand for the game. Kickoff set for 11 a.m. Central on ESPN, right after Lee Corso chooses the headgear on College Game Day. The Tigers are looking to go 3-0 for the 9th year in a row, and Syracuse should be a great challenge. Reporting for Tiger Tracks, I'm Garrett Wolvert.
Thank you, Garrett. There is a little bit of trivia. LSU did play in the Carrier Dome. It was in basketball.
Is that right?
Back in the day, Dale Brown took the Tigers.
Yeah.
Pearl Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good point guard for Jimmy Boeheim back
That's
in
right.
the day.
Exactly,
All right.
exactly. Well, Tigers looking forward to facing Syracuse on Saturday. Again, an early kickoff.
11.
ESPN. So LSU hoping to move to 3-0.
You got the beignets and the Bloody Marys?
Absolutely,
I'm coming.
absolutely.
I will take a timeout when we come back. Fran Flory, LSU Volleyball, next. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks. We just heard from the big air conditioner, the Carrier Dome, LSU taking on Syracuse. I always wanted to say that. I've never been there. But now in their 18th season, my goodness gracious, as the head coach of the LSU volleyball program, Fran Flory, kind enough to join us for a couple of segments here on Tiger Tracks. So, Fran, welcome. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
This is a tradition we'd like to continue.
For sure.
At least, every year we keep it going. So, season's begun. Give us kind of an overview of where you are as we sit today.
Probably not the record we expected to have, but growing into it, had some adversity early in the season. Big middle, Courtney Fears, who tore her ACL a week before the season last year, tore her other ACL a day before our first match this year. A devastating injury to her, certainly, and to our program. You know, never been that upset for a kid. But she'll be back. She's already talking about trying to get that 5th year, 6th year even maybe extended, and, you know, just a mainstay of our program. But the team's coming along. We're kind of still a work in progress. Big match tonight against Arkansas in not too long. And, you know, that's a good opportunity, really good opportunity for us tonight.
Fran, last weekend you guys go out to Albuquerque and win the Lobo Invitational, including a big 5-set thriller over the University of New Mexico. How do those wins help to propel you into SEC play beginning tonight? You
know, I think when a team is trying to overcome adversity, their confidence is broken a little bit. And when they were able to step on a pretty hostile crowd, New Mexico has a nice crowd, a couple thousand people in there, pretty rowdy, and go up 2-0 and then have New Mexico rally and even the match at 4 or at 2-2 and have to perform on somebody else's hostile court for a 5th set and come through. Those are the matches that coaches look for that are defining for the remainder of the season, and I think that's a huge stepping point for us. We're excited about tonight.
Every season has a turning point, and that could be yours. And it also, you talked about the devastating loss to one of your athletes, but wins like that, chemistry important and significant. That certainly blends in together with that.
Absolutely, and this team is the closest team probably I've ever had. You know, I love the group. I love the kids. They're committed. We just don't quite have the pieces together yet in the right situation. So we're a work in progress, as I said. They're developing. They're gaining confidence. The seniors are certainly leading the way. Super proud of their performance. But we started 4 freshmen and 2 seniors. We got some young kids on the court that are going to grow up, and we're a dangerous team. Everybody in the country is saying LSU's coming. Watch out, here they come.
To that point, is that something where, you know, football, you lose a couple of games, season's basically over. But basketball, it's not who you play, but when you play them. Is that the same in volleyball?
Absolutely, and our season was one of the most difficult pre-conference schedules I've ever played. It was, you know, it was an anticipation of having a team that was going to be a top 16 seed, and, you know, now all of a sudden we don't have that. We're starting 4 freshmen, so, you know, we have to recover from this, but we certainly have the opportunity to do that.
Good. Fran, we wanted to talk more in depth about your team, but one player that we noticed on the roster has your last name. So I'm guessing she might be related to you. What's it like having your daughter, Fran Flory, on the team as a freshman?
Well, it's an honor to coach your own child, but it's also the biggest challenge. You know, children are the biggest blessing and the biggest challenge in everyone's life. So having her as part of the program and day-to-day operations and she's got a big load. She's setting for us. She stepped in, and super proud of her. But you know, she's going to be a big part of this maturation of a team, and she's got to come along for us pretty fast.
Now, be honest. Are you tougher on her than you would normally be on somebody else?
I am, and I think you have to be. You know, and she accepts that. She's a great kid. She handles it. Great mentality. You know. A difficult situation, but certainly really, really fun.
Y'all still eat dinner together at night every now and then?
Never.
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 All right, let's take a time out here. We're going to continue. Never? My goodness, that's tough. That's tough love. We'll take a time out. We'll come back with more with Fran Flory here on Tiger Tracks on CST. Really, never? My gosh.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana. And by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
Welcome back to Tiger Tracks here on CST alongside Bill Franquez. I'm Jordy Heltberg. We continue our conversation with Fran Flory. We're taping this earlier in the day so you can actually go to your game tonight, which is coming on right after this program. Arkansas comes to the PMAC. Look, any team in the SEC in any sport's always good. I'm sure Arkansas in volleyball, no exception.
You know, they're coming off a huge win, played in the Creighton tournament last weekend and knocked off Kansas State and Wisconsin, who was number 11 at the time. So they're coming in with a great deal of confidence. They have one of the best middles in the league, and she has some attributes that we think we have a game plan against.
Time out. Layman's terms, best middle in the league. What does that mean?
Middle blocker who is going to be their offensive threat. So she's going to get more offensive opportunities. They're going to set her a ton. She had 24 kills, which means she scored 24 points against Wisconsin, which is a lot. That's a whole set in volleyball. So she won a set by herself, essentially.
Wow.
So she's physical, she's fast, and we have a game plan. LSU Arkansas volleyball matches are always just a war. Doesn't matter where we're playing, it could be a neutral. It's going to be a great match. Our team has a lot of confidence against Arkansas. Arkansas has a lot of confidence against LSU. So we step toe-to-toe, and it's just an old-fashioned barn burner.
Let's bring that trophy out for the boot. Let's bring it out, huh? Yeah.
Fran, you mentioned after the wins in New Mexico that you felt like your offense had stabilized a bit and your defense had gotten tougher. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
You know, defense leads to offense in volleyball. So kind of like basketball. You know, you get a turnover and you get a transition.
Easy bucket,
our transition is the same. If we defend a team well, we can create better offensive opportunities. And our middle blocking position, because we have some youth in that position and inexperienced, you know, that's the key to being able to be a good defensive team, because the middle blocker kind of gets in front of the opposing hitters and channels the ball to them or stops them. So our middles have done a great job, worked really, really hard to get better, and then our setting is coming along. You know, Lindsay Flory is setting 3 rotations, and Cheyenne Wood is setting the other 3 rotations, and you know, that's some inexperience in that position as well. So we have to have some grow-up time, and I think we're close. We're not quite there yet, but we're awfully close.
Who's your middle?
Well, it's kind of by committee right now. So we have Emily Earl, who is a senior, stepped into that role last year. We have Tara Gibson, a transfer from South Dakota, who is a big physical kid. And the pace of the game is a little fast. She's catching up pretty fast. We have Brittany Welsh, who's a freshman from California, 6'4", long, going to be the middle of the future, but young. And we have Olivia Beyer, whose brother played football at Michigan, super athletic, super fast, and she's been the stabilizer. You know, she was probably the last to come along through preseason, but now she's the stabilizing force there.
Okay.
Along with the players you just mentioned, you've got real cornerstones of your program have been your seniors, Katie Leak and Katie Lindelof and Haley Smith. And I know they all continue to make big impacts.
You know, Katie Leak is just a tremendous volleyball player, and you know, every team, the game plan is to stop her, and nobody's done it yet. So she's our person that's going to get all the swings tonight and get all the opportunities. And you know, we go as Katie Leak goes. Katie Lindelof, what a great leader, what a great person, what a great LSU role model, student athlete, president of the Student Athlete Advisory Board, does everything on and off the court, and is the competitive fighter. That's a Louisiana kid that just gets after it. Wonderful kid. And Haley Smith is our Rudy. I mean, walk on, made her way onto a scholarship position this fall, and was MVP of the tournament this past weekend. A couple of people at New Mexico told me she's the best that's ever played here. So huge compliment.
Quickly, Fran, I can't believe we're getting ready to start the 3rd season of beach volleyball. What's the impact been there?
Yeah, it's been great. A lot of kids want to play both. So, you know, dual surface, sand and hard court, attracts a different level athlete. We've gotten some interest from some really top tier athletes and recruits. And Russell Brock is really leading that program. He's doing a great job. We're going to step into the next tier, I think, this next year. We've had some big injuries on that side, and hopefully those kids recover and are able to play, but certainly a future sport for LSU.
All right, you got to get out of here. Arkansas is waiting. Good luck. Good luck. Go get the boot, all right?
Thank you.
All right, Fran Flory in her 18th season guiding the LSU volleyball team. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with much more. This is Tiger Tracks, and we're coming to you on CST. Stay with us.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
And we welcome you back to Tiger Tracks. Bill Franquez, I'm Jordy Helper. If you follow this program, you know the name Jack Joubert by now, a very accomplished football player, played for Coach Charlie McClendon, 1970 SEC championship team, but even more known now for his artistic value.
Yeah, exactly. Jack is, as you said, has become a very accomplished artist. He started by painting for LSU athletics, painting great moments in teams, and now he's been commissioned to do work for the military and for police departments. He's had an amazing career.
Yeah.
Garrett Wolvert had a chance to sit down with Jack Joubert.
Rare is the college football program that boasts the tradition and the trophies of Louisiana State University. Rarer still are LSU's distinguished portraits of All-Americans hanging in Tiger Stadium. But the living definition of rare is Jack Joubert. Some schools may commission artists to paint their award-winning athletes, but only at LSU are the artist and the athlete one and the same. Jacques Edward Joubert came from Lafayette and lettered in football under Hall of Fame coach Charles McClendon. Joubert started 24 games in a row at center for LSU, winning the 1970 SEC championship. His time under the stately Oaks was marked by big wins and All-American teammates.
Well, I'd have to say that I was very fortunate to have been here during some times when we had some very good football players here at LSU. Not only great football players, but some really good people, too. Dr. Tommy Casanova, George Bevan, and Mike Anderson, and Tyler LaFosse, and Warren Capone. I'm thinking now of All-Americans and some guys that just had so much passion and desire to do it for LSU, you know, to play for the purple and the gold. So many good fellows of character that also loved having the opportunity to play football for LSU.
Joubert was interested in art before starting college, and his talents were nurtured by his parents and peers.
I've never taken an art course. Now, I feel like I've studied art because I feel like I've studied it all my life in some way or other, but not in a formal way. When I was a freshman in high school, my parents gave me an oil paint set because the teachers in schools had recognized that I had something and I enjoyed doing it. And I taught myself how to use oil paints, and that's been the medium that I've stuck with through the years. And that's what I feel really works best with portraiture. I try to see if I can bring some personality out in them, just like I do when I paint a coach or anyone else.
After returning to Baton Rouge in the late 1980s, Joubert's talents were put to work by the LSU athletic department.
Having the background and having the interest and some of the history, knowing some of the history, it made it more conducive to doing some things that are historically accurate with the paintings, the LSU artwork that I do. We've had so much talent come through here in recent years, and I think back and up to, and that's a good starting point, 2000, how many portraits I had before that, and then since then, I haven't stopped to count, but we may have had as many since then, 2000, as we had before.
Joubert has been commissioned to create works across the region, and recently finished a centennial mural for the LSU Lab School, University High. Born the son of an Army officer, Joubert has created works for branches of the military, as well as a history of the New Orleans Police Department. Being a part of the LSU athletics family has proven very valuable to the artist.
Well, it's a good feeling. It's gratifying. I'm glad that I can feel like I could contribute in some way. LSU fans are so passionate and so generous, and I'm glad that I can have a part of it too, feel like I've given back a little bit.
Over the last 25 years, Jack Joubert has painted the LSU All-Americans of the Foundation era and the contemporary stars that elevated the program to new heights. With any luck, Joubert will be busy for another 25 years, bringing each new star to life on a canvas of white. Reporting for Tiger Tracks, I'm Garrett Wolvert.
Boy, Jack's so talented. You know, you feel as an LSU athlete, you've made it if you've made one of Jack's murals. And Jack, you got that basketball one. I'm in. I need to know where I can get it. I loved it. So come on, let's talk.
Yeah, I'm proud to say that Jack and I attended the same high school.
There you go.
In Lafayette. So we're both proud alumni of Cathedral Carmel High School. And boy, Jack's had a remarkable career. And as Garrett said, it should continue for many years to come.
Gosh, how does he have the time to do all that?
Yeah.
I mean, he must be able to whip them out quickly.
Yeah.
But so gifted and so talented. Well, hope you enjoyed the program. We hope to come back to you again next week talking about 3-0, heading for Eastern Michigan coming to town.
Exactly. LSU back at home next week in Eastern Michigan. By the way, that game has been announced as a 6 p.m. kickoff. And, of course, this Saturday, 11 a.m. at Syracuse. Should be a great test for the Tigers, a great time for LSU to promote its brand up in the Northeast.
Mike, the Tigers going to flatten out Otto the Orange. For Bill, I'm Jordy. See you next week on Tiger Tracks.